Welcome to the Wizards of Ecom, your no-fluff playbook for online success. Each episode is fully packed with actionable tactics you can implement in your business right now. Take your life to a higher level and excel in your online success. It's time to work on you and your business. Let's do this. Welcome to the Wizards of Ecom, where we discuss all things Amazon and e-commerce. In today's episode, we have the Director of Sales and Partnerships at Deliverr, Michael Sene, and we are going to break down how best to utilize Deliverr in your e-commerce business to grow beyond Amazon without having to be a slave to the box tape and merchant fulfilled style lifestyle. Michael, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Glad to be on.
First of all, did I say your last name right? So I don't mangle it the whole episode.
Sene, yeah, it's
Sene.
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right, Sene. Michael, we've not had the pleasure to meet in person. I heard your episode, though, where you were a guest on Firing the Man podcast. They were kind enough to put us in touch. Until that moment, full transparency, I really thought Deliverr was like the guys that make selling on Walmart less painful. Like that's kind of what that's really, yeah, that's kind of where it ends. But you guys do a heck of a lot more than that. Correct me if I'm wrong here. So it seems like Deliverr and Amazon enjoy like almost this like symbiotic relationship where Amazon continues to train consumers to like expect it in 2 days, 1 day, and an hour. And then you guys come in or there and you're making it to where everyone can meet that expectation or demand that customers have. So I assume that if Amazon trains everyone to receive it in 2 hours, that's the direction that Deliverr is going. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And at a low price. I think that's a very important part, right? Because anyone can, you can airship something next day and pay $40 for a product that costs $20, but that doesn't make sense, right? So our goal is, how do we offer the same low price and try to get it as low as we can while getting it as fast as we can? And so we're definitely looking into next day a lot this year. And our goal is to test out same day by the end of the year.
Sweet. You stole one of my thunder at the end. I'm going to ask you about roadmaps and stuff and see what we can get out of you about Deliverr. I want to be super respectful of your time, though. So let me ask you this before we get into some of the meat and potatoes of this. Director of Sales and Partnerships at Deliverr. That sounds like a super lofty title. Like, what exactly do you do at Deliverr, and why do you love doing it?
Yeah, I oversee our entire fulfillment specialist team. These are the folks who, if you decide to use Deliverr or sign up on your own because it's a self-serve product, or maybe they reached out to you, so it'd either way, you're probably working with one of the folks that are on a team that reports up to me. So definitely love my role, given that, what Deliverr is doing is fairly unique. And, I don't really even consider it a sale when it's a product that, people need. They need options out there for fast and affordable fulfillment. On the partnership side, I'm always looking for opportunities for the company to partner with any of our companies we work with, whether it's items we don't do, for example, prep work. Long-term stores, we do it, but there's probably other sources where we want to be the best in is fast and affordable fulfillment. We're not trying to be the best at everything. And so the partnership side is to help find other options as well for our merchants so they could utilize Deliverr and also satisfy some of the things we may not be able to do.
So anybody that doesn't understand Deliverr, so first of all, it's Deliverr with 2 R's. Let's say I'm a total newbie and I have an e-commerce business. How do you help me make more money and not be a slave to the box tape?
Yeah, so we are an FBA-like solution in a sense that we have 50 plus warehouses nationwide that we partner with. So it's an asset-light model, which allows us to grow really quickly. So even during the pandemic, we were able to double in size because we're partnering. We're not going out and building the warehouses, which requires a lot of capital and a lot of expenses, which ultimately gets passed on to the merchant. So we're able to maintain lower rates, expand a lot, and then we partner with lots of different carriers. Right now we have about 9 different carriers, national and regional. So that allows for lower rates there. We're easy to set up, easy to use, hassle-free, very similar. When people are walking through our portal and they're creating an inbound, a lot of times they'll say, hey, this is very similar to when I'm inbounding the FBA. So that's where there's a lot of similarities. Now, where we're different is we're really focused on fast tags that increase sales outside of Amazon. So you think about Walmart today. You think about your own badge on your own website if you have a Shopify or a big commerce store, where we're controlling what that badge says. Similar to Prime, if you see an item in Arizona versus an item in California, you'll see different promise times depending on where that item is located in the Amazon network. We have the same thing. So we're controlling the tags across there. Now, other tests we've been doing is we're controlling also the ads. So people who are used to maybe just selling on Amazon and maybe their Shopify store, we're actually controlling the ads on Facebook and Google that also will say free 1 day or free 2 day, depending on where the buyer is looking on those social media or discovery platforms. So now you're controlling an end-to-end experience where they're seeing the speed, and that's been causing a huge lift in sales for people who want to expand outside of Amazon, because they know that having a fast speed and promoting that will allow them to acquire more sales on whichever channel they're looking to grow it on.
Do you feel like a seller has to be at a certain level to afford or think about using Deliverr? Like, they have a website, they have Amazon, they do decent on Amazon, but rather than waiting to max out sales there, they're like, I want to get the ball rolling on my e-commerce website.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the perfect time to speak with someone like Deliverr. If you're only selling on Amazon, you're using FBA, great. People come in and use us as a backup sometimes. We saw that being very helpful last year with everything that went on. But where we see a big opportunity is if you're either deciding to really want to increase sales on your website, or you're in the process, maybe you've kicked the can down the road a little bit, and now you're saying, hey, 2021 is finally the time I want to focus a little bit on how I can increase conversion and traffic on my site while also having a good fulfillment provider that can offer a Prime-like service for my site. That's where, Deliverr comes into play.
And what would this look like? I guess I'm coming from the newbie perspective here. I'm not a newbie e-com seller, but regarding Deliverr, I do have a website. You're saying that if someone in Miami, someone in Arizona, and someone in California were looking at my website, they would almost, is dynamically the right word, they would all see a different ship time, and Deliverr takes care of that.
Correct. So it's end to end. So you're likely, if you have a Shopify or a BigCommerce or any other site, you're likely spending on ads already, probably majority on Facebook and probably some testing out on Google. So our goal is, hey, when you connect Deliverr to your Facebook ads manager and you have us connected to Shopify, we'll actually create sets in your ad campaigns where certain people in certain areas in any given time, any given day, will see your free next day ad. Some will see free 2 day. When they click on that ad, it takes them to the page of the product or the website, and they'll be able to see that promise date is in there, and that will change dynamically. We're the ones controlling it. So you don't have to worry about promising your buyers a speed and not being able to deliver on that. We will actually pull it back during times of less carrier reliability. A good example of this is leading up to the Christmas holiday, right? You want to promise 2 day, but you don't want to be the one who actually makes the decision of when can I actually promise that and still fulfill it in that time. And so we're the ones controlling that promise date. So your buyer gets an accurate timeline, and we're the ones who fulfill it.
Wow, that's like scary good. So the Facebook site I get, and not having to build out all those ad sets, huge time saver right there in and of itself. But what about the website itself? Like, if you're on my website and you're looking at my detail page, and you want to add this product to cart, is there a way to like display right then and there, like, similar to Amazon, like add, check out now within the next whatever and receive it within 1 or 2, 3 days, depending on where they're at?
Yeah, we have that already. And we even offer sometimes a $5 credit to the buyer if it doesn't get delivered in that time. So it will be a ticker. You can see sites like HeyDudeChoosUSA.com. They have it on their products. There's a ticker ticking down to when you can purchase the item and get it by a certain promise date. So that is exactly what we do.
That is sweet. I focus on B2B for the last 15 and a half, and I'm thinking about going D2C now, and that's going to be absolutely genius. Now, I am not techie at all.
Oh, this is great. Okay. The great thing about this, it's one fixed cost. So we'll charge, a flat rate for 2 day. And when we can get next day on your item, we're going to show that at no additional cost to the person. So that's the benefit, is you're paying for a dynamic 2 day, 1 day. And our goal is to get so much next day that your sales increase. And then in the end, we're winning as well because we're fulfilling the product. So it's a win-win.
And how do you make money then? Like, because I'm gonna save on shipping. It's super easy to set up. Like, where does Deliverr make money in this relationship?
It's a network effect, right? So the more people participating, the more volume we do, and ultimately the more scale. It's very similar to a lot of network effect type platforms, right? And so we are, making a cut out of it. At the end of the day, it's small, but it's all about volume. And so our goal is aligned with the people that work with us. We want to help increase your volume, because if you're increasing your volume, we have a better network effect. We can scale, everyone wins.
And when I'm like convinced now, like I might speed up my website creations now just to like hook this up and make it seems like a no brainer. But how do I get my products to you? Because for you to promise those times, you have to have my products within your network. How does that work?
So a very similar setup to FBA. You create an inbound. You can create a free account on Deliverr right now. You connect it to Shopify, let's say, or Amazon, however you want to connect it. We pull your catalog in. You create a shipping plan. You decide if you want that shipping plan being sent directly to the warehouses we assign it to. So we control the allocation as well. We tell you how many are going to go to each warehouse. You don't have to worry about forecasting. You just tell us how many units you want to send in, a month's worth, 2 months worth, and then we'll distribute it based off of knowledge we know about that SKU. You also have the option to use our forwarding, which is essentially you send it to one of our cross stocks in LA or Jersey or Atlanta, and we'll go ahead and distribute that across the network to the assigned fulfillment centers. Now, what's really important, which Amazon has taught us, is your items are in multiple warehouses, right? To get a really true next day, you need your items in, to get nationwide next day. The actual math adds up to about 10 to 18 warehouses having your item to be able to get a low rate and get next day. 2 day is about 4 to 5 warehouses, right, nationwide, which is what we're accustomed to. And so when you run those numbers, you know, if you're deciding about a fulfillment provider, you're thinking who can actually is set up for 2022 and 2023 and what the demand will be like at then, which is obviously same day, next day. And that's an important decision that a lot of people have to make when they're looking at a fulfillment provider.
What about, I noticed that you do not offer international shipping, or you don't handle returns. Is that something you see yourself looking into and possibly adding in the future? Can you say?
Yeah, so international, we should be having domestic shipping from our domestic locations internationally by the end of this quarter. We did test it out last quarter, and then COVID happened, so we put a pause. We wanted to put the effort on our domestic growth. And so we will have that by this quarter. As far as returns, that's something on the roadmap for this year. We actually partner with several companies, one of them being like My FBA Prep, who people might be familiar with, and they actually handle it there. Reverse logistics is always a different challenge in itself, right? And so that's something that we want to explore, but it hasn't been a priority. Our big priority is next day, same day. How do we increase speed and lower costs? And, you know, you'll notice we're not trying to be the best at everything. There's a lot of fulfillment providers who will, you know, say we do this, and this. We want to be the best at being fast and affordable. And we think that's where you'll see a big opportunity, and merchants will see a big opportunity.
So something that I found a little shocking too, and I heard you say this actually in another podcast, but it was a surprise. I guess it just went away. I didn't remember it. And then all of your pricing is shown on your website. So yeah, that's pretty bold, man.
Yeah, we wanted to disrupt it. We wanted to say, hey, let's not worry about having this sales meeting where you go back and forth with each person and you negotiate long-term contracts. Let's do away with that. Let's make it simple. Here's a cost. We're confident that our costs are pretty competitive. And here's the other thing. You can try as little or as much of Deliverr as you want. We have people who come in and want to try us out with 4 units. I don't recommend, I mean, I'd probably recommend at least a few weeks, but you know, that does happen. And the other thing for the fast tags on our site, we have a lot of people who try that out. They'll do a standard ad, a 2-day ad, and a next day ad, and we'll help set them up for that. And our success rate on that trial is pretty much 100%. We don't typically lose anyone when they actually try that out with their ad sets, because they'll realize that their ads get more clicks and more purchases just by using Deliverr. And so they're actually not spending any more money than they already were to try to develop a direct-to-consumer website channel.
That is insane. And cost, do I have a monthly recurring cost for partnering with Deliverr?
No monthly costs, no receiving fees. It's just 2 costs. It's fulfillment and storage. And the storage mirrors Amazon FBA. So, you know, anyone who's used to their storage rates, it's the same thing.
It's a rough estimate, or that's by design? It's like that's what you'll charge for storage?
During, you have the peak and the non-peak, right? You have October through December, which is like $2 and change, I believe, per cubic square foot. And then you have the 75 cents per cubic square foot outside of peak, which is a direct mirror of Amazon FBA.
What would you say the biggest bit of frustration it is for somebody that you've come across, that most popular bit of frustration that somebody has when they first start working with Deliverr and they're like, oh, I didn't know this?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked this, because there are things that Amazon FBA, I mean, they do a lot of things great. We know that, right? And I think one of them is like reverse logistics returns, not having to worry about cancellations if orders happen. They're handling it end to end. When you're doing outside channels, outside of Amazon, there is a little bit of work you have to keep an eye on with regards to support or returns. And sometimes people will go say, hey, I'm going to venture out outside of Amazon. I'm going to do Walmart for the first time. Well, with Walmart, you're going to have to consider, what kind of support do you have to provide for your buyers that may not be available on that 3P channel versus is available on Walmart. Same thing with your website, right? You have to handle those customers directly versus on Amazon. If they have any issues, they're taking it up with Amazon. They're coordinating that way, right? With regards to returns or any other issue. And so you do have to, if you're trying to develop a big direct consumer channel on your website, you want to get it to say 1,000 orders a day, 5,000 orders a day, whatever that is. You're going to have to factor in customer support and those items that you're probably used to having if you're only using Amazon FBA.
Did I understand you correctly, though, that at the beginning you mentioned that you'll also like help connect people to other service providers, so if somebody does have this issue and they realize they're lacking in customer service and they want to go with Walmart, can they just reach out to you and be like, hey, Michael, who do you recommend that I use in this situation?
Yeah, we definitely have partners. There's definitely big ones out there. There's like Gorgeous, things like that will help provide that solution. If you're thinking high volume outside of Amazon, you need support. So we have a lot of recommendations, everything from prep work to returns to, even financing. Sometimes we have, a lot of issues with, I want to get more inventory, but don't have the capital or credit lines yet. So we have a lot of partnerships there, and we're happy to recommend people.
Michael, you are amazing. I want to be respectful of your time. You also are going to be presenting soon to my Amazon Seller Meetup group. So I have some questions that I want to hold until then. I do know there seems to be in my group, this seems like the best kept secret. So I can't wait till like my entire group comes in and starts coming with different questions from every direction. But I see myself signing up today. So before letting you go, best way for someone to reach you, I'm assuming, is on Deliverr, or do you have a better email?
Yeah, you can email me, last name Sene, SENE @deliverr.com with an extra R. You can contact me on LinkedIn. There are also, at any moment during business hours, there's a live chat function. You can talk directly to any of our reps. And you can also, there's a meeting booking link on the homepage. It says, let's chat, and you can book a time with any of our fulfillment specialists. So very easy if you want to talk to someone. If you want to just do it on your own, you can do it on your own as well.
Yeah, I've not tried the chat, but on LinkedIn, you were lightning fast responsive. So that is fantastic. Before letting you get back to your day, something I ask everyone that's on the show is, what is your favorite book and why?
Man, current, it's always got to be a current one, Ricky, because those are the ones that stand out. So I'm reading
recency bias.
Yeah, I got a recency bias. Reading this one called Factfulness, that's just amazing right now. Really helps put the world into perspective based on facts and data. And I just love it. If you're ever thinking like maybe things are worse today than they were 10 years ago or whatnot, it puts a lot of things into perspective.
Do you know the author?
Oof, that's a good question.
That's fine. I'll find. There can't be that many books called Factfulness.
Well, it should come up pretty high. It's a New York Times bestseller, I believe. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that book out. I've not read it, so I always love hearing about a book I haven't read. Michael, huge thank you. Want to be respectful of your time. I look forward to hearing your presentation in my group, and I look forward to sharing this episode with the listeners.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
It was fun sharing this episode with you. If you found value in what you've heard, please show your love with a subscribe, rate, and review of the show. Until next time.